All right, good morning. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're at the Boyles Correctional Center in Marksville on March 19th, 2024. It's 10:14 a.m. Would the staff there at Boyles please introduce yourself for the record?
Unmuted.
Yes. They want the staff.
The staff. Would we have the staff introduce yourself?
Oh. Here. Lemoyne.
Good morning. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your name.
Lemoyne.
All right. Well, thanks for accommodating us this morning. We appreciate it. Is this Mr. Richard in front of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I believe, do we have by Zoom Mr. Rochelle?
Yes, ma'am. That's me.
All right. Just stand by, sir. I'm going to get to you in just a moment when we do, after we do the preliminaries. Mr. Lance, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
Lance Kelly, Richard, 540294.
All right. And do you have a parole revocation question there in front of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think we'll put one up on the screen for you to look at and tell us if that's you recognize that form? Oops. Stand by. We're trying to get to it.
Okay.
It flashed away. Okay, there you go. Is that your signature at the bottom of that page, Mr. Richard, dated January 19th of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And so according to that information, you're not eligible for appointed counsel. You ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to, you're accused of violating the conditions of your parole. I'll read the allegations against you. And then you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. And then we'll have your parole officer who's here with us, we'll ask for their input. And then Mrs. Ledoux will be asking you some questions. It's been assigned to her. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
You're accused of violating the conditions of parole, specifically condition number 2. It states you failed to report for a Boyles Parish report day on a consistent basis in which you were directed to report on the first Tuesday of each month. How do you plead to violating condition number 2?
Not guilty.
Okay. Condition number 4, you have not complied with this condition of your parole, which is evident by your arrest on October 6, 2023 by the Boyles Parish Sheriff's Office for the alleged offense of domestic abuse, battery, and domestic abuse, child endangerment, thereby engaging in criminal activity. You pled guilty to 2 counts of simple battery, which were misdemeanors, on December 12th, 2023 in the 12th JDC, where you were sentenced and given credit for time served. How do you plead to violating condition number 4?
Not guilty.
And then we have condition number 10. You have failed to maintain your monetary obligation ordered by the state, in which you have only made one payment on October 1st, 2022. You're currently $908 in arrears and supervision fees. How do you plead to violating condition number 10?
Guilty.
All right. And we have Mr. Drake. Rochelle, we'd like to hear your input, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say to us?
Just due to the seriousness of the charges and probable cause being found at the preliminary hearing, if you're asking for a recommendation, it would be revocation.
Okay, we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us this morning. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. Richard, thank you. I'd like for you to answer these questions honestly. So you were released in August of 22, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any previous technical violations before you were arrested in October?
No, ma'am.
You didn't have a technical violation of drug use?
Technical violation of drug use?
Right.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Yes, ma'am. On September 29th of 2023, marijuana was found in his residence by Agent Lyons that was supervising him at the time.
Yeah,
Um,
thought I read that.
yes, ma'am.
So you did have a technical, was he,
Well, I wasn't notified that it was a technical. I was told he flushed it down the toilet and told me that there's not really much he can do about that. And he left.
okay.
Protested me and left.
So what is the charge that you're serving time on? What is the sentence related to?
Okay, so I was originally arrested for domestic abuse, battery, and child endangerment, which that
Okay.
wasn't even.
Excuse me. I'm talking about you're on
Oh.
parole, possession of meth, correct?
No, ma'am. Possession of alzolipram, which is Xanax.
Okay, I have possession. So is this Erica Mitchell, what relationship is she to you?
She's my wife. We're married.
Okay, so
Or now, yeah.
got married while you've been on probation, or parole rather.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
went to Vegas and got married.
We got married September 10th of last year.
Okay. And so how long have you been in a relationship with her?
Since August of 22.
Okay.
Since I was released, me and her have been together. And we have a good relationship. For the record, we have a good relationship. This is just a big misunderstanding. And I mean, it's.
Can you explain to me how you have, she has marks on her from this misunderstanding?
Ma'am, those marks were not for me. I do construction. I'm self-employed, and she comes and help me work, and she gets marks from carrying a ladder, and it's construction work. It's hard labor, and it's most definitely not for me. And she made that clear to the officer that it was not from me.
Okay, so have you ever been incarcerated in DOC custody with programming?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you have you received anger management and pre-release?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Right before I was released in August of 22.
Okay. So you pled guilty to the charges. Is that correct? Why did you plead guilty if there wasn't any?
Because my lawyer told me that misdemeanors would not violate my parole, and it'd be best to appease the court to just plead guilty and get it out the way. And that's why I did it.
We need to do some education then, because you signed your parole conditions of parole, and they clearly state no violence. Whether it happened, you pled guilty to that, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I pled guilty just to appease the court. Not because I put my hands on my wife, because I most definitely did not. I love her with all my heart. I do.
Okay, so you said, are you still working for yourself when you get out? Will you go back and work for yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Construction. Yes, I do construction for myself. Been doing it 20 years.
I'm going to ask my colleagues if they would like to ask some questions. Mr. Reddy, you have any questions?
I have no questions. So where you mentioned, where is your wife today?
She's at home.
Did she know you were coming up before the parole board today?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder why she's not here joining us.
I didn't. She didn't know that she was able to be here, because she most definitely would have been here.
Okay. Anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to say that like I said, me and my wife have a good relationship, and I love her children just like mine. She helps me raise my children, and regardless of y'all revoke me or not, I'm still going home to my wife. So, and what I want to say is that we don't have a violent relationship. Every couple argues from time to time, we don't put our hands on each other. We walk away and cool off, and then we come back and talk about it. And that's all that happened that day. Yes, I did. She was on the phone with her friend, and I slipped the phone out of her hand, and I broke the phone. I cracked the phone on the mirror stand, and I walked outside, and we were arguing outside, and that's when the police came. And I most definitely didn't put my hands on her, and she didn't put her hands on me. And
Would you have handled that differently?
yes, ma'am, I should have handled it differently. I should have
But
just.
how would you have?
How would I have?
If it happened today and you were that angry, what would you do?
If it happened today and I were that angry, I would just have walked away and not broke the phone.
All right, your defendant, this is the day. Let me ask one more question, if you don't mind. Mr. Richard,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm reviewing your risk assessment, and it seems like you've had some issues with drugs. So have you ever had significant programming that would help you in that area? Because I know that you have been doing drugs since you've been on parole, evidence by
Yes, ma'am. Marijuana is
it's an illegal drug in the state of Louisiana.
yes, ma'am. But what I want to say is that it helps me, and it's not something that makes me angry or do things that I shouldn't do. And you're right, it's illegal. And I know once I go back home, I will definitely be getting back into NA and AA programs. Most definitely, because I went all the times that I went, I did good, and I stayed away from everything. And then in September, when we got married, I used again that afternoon, and I kind of started using marijuana again after that. And before that, I was going to NA every week, and I stayed sober.
So does your wife smoke with you? So I mean, it makes it okay.
No. We were arguing because she flushed it down the toilet, and she was telling her friend that he's still using, and I pulled the phone out of her hand and I broke the phone.
So we need to address this issue.
Yes,
and
you
think NA is going to be the answer?
Most definitely. When I'm out there and I have a sponsor and I go every week, I stay sober.
Okay. So would you? Are you going to comply if I ask for enhanced drug testing for you?
Most definitely. Yes, ma'am. I'll comply.
Okay, that's so today my vote is going to be to do not revoke, but I'm going to ask for every other week drug testing, and that you get involved in the NA program.
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely will.
Mr. Freeman?
My vote is going to be the same, except I want exactly 3 AA meetings a week. And I agree with Mr. Ledoux's other recommendation.
Mr. Richard, I do agree. My vote is do not revoke. Submit to the enhanced drug testing and the 3 AA or NA meetings each week. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank y'all.
Congratulations, bro. Great.
Yeah,
definitely gonna make it. You ain't gonna looking at that door like, why is this dude saying this?
Well, I'm not saying about the drugs. It's no. You gotta tell them that you're gonna get help out there.
Yeah.
Because they want to get you help in here. Need help out there.
My charges got dismissed. You tap out, you play guilty. I play not guilty.
And it's yours, whatever.
Hey lifers, I want to thank you all for watching this video, but if you could please make sure to subscribe. We do have a lot of people in the bushes. If you like this content, just hit the subscribe button. It really helps grow the channel. Also, don't forget to like this video and stay tuned for the next one.